So here's my hood. I've got 3 coats of paint on there. What I'm going to do now is spray this clear coat on. It's a clear gloss from Tremclad. It's pretty good. It's oil based. I like the oil based better than the acrylic one. So this clear coat, you got to be a bit more careful than the paint because it does have a tendency to run a bit easier than the paint, so you don't want to put it on too thick. One tip, if you're doing this outside, bring it in as soon as you've got it coated, especially if there's bugs outside or mosquitoes or what. They have a tendency to go on and get stuck in the wet paint. And I'm also going to put a clear coat on the fenders here. I've already got some clear coat on the side panels. I'm not going to put any on the deck. And I've got the grill clear coated as well. What the clear coat's supposed to do, as it says on the can, is protect the paint. So I'm hoping the clear coat's going to make the paint last longer. Just put the 4th coat of green paint on the fenders. Going to let that dry for 24 to 36 hours. Then spray my clear coat, and I've got all my parts painted. So now that I've got the front wheels on, I'm going to take the back ones off and paint the weights and the inside of the rims. First I'm going to jack her up. Just going to use this car jack, and I've got some blocks behind and in front of the rear tire just in case it decides it wants to move. Just going to remove the 3/4 inch nuts. Next I'll have to remove these bolts here, and I'm going to use an impact wrench for that. So now I got to sand the inside of the rim with a 320 grit sandpaper, clean it all off, and then it's ready to be painted. I'm not going to use any primer on the wheel and the weight. Now for safety purposes, you may want to put a block underneath your tractor just in case your jack decides to let go. Clean the whole rim out. Now I'm just going to pass a light sandpaper over it just to give the next coat of paint a bit of teeth to grab onto. Basically I'm just scuffing it up. It's going to make the next coat of paint really stick to it. Now my rim's ready to be painted. Next comes the tedious job of taping the tire. So it's all taped up on both sides, and it's ready to be painted now. So that'll be good for the first coat for today. Once the paint isn't tacky, I'm going to take it in the garage and let it dry overnight in there. And then tomorrow I'll give it a second coat. I'm done painting the hood as I told you earlier. Got the clear coat on. I'm going to remove the tape here to show the John Deere stripes. But I spoke to the guy last week and he wants me to get new ones, so I taped them all up to preserve them. And now he wants new ones. It's okay, I prefer putting new ones on, but there's a lot of work taping that. So I'm just going to stick the new ones right over top of these. So I like the way it's turned out. I got the wheel off, and sometimes it's hard to paint the black paint on the parts here when the wheel's on, so while I've got it off, I'm going to take advantage of that and just finish it off. Got wicked fumes, man. Whew. And if you want to, when it's dry the next day, you can put a second coat, and the next day after that you can put a third coat on if you want. So I'm going to leave that the way it is, and now I just got to get my back wheel, the last wheel, painted and put 3 coats on that, then I'm ready to put it back on. So here's my other rear wheel. I'm just going to give it a few more coats. Got somebody here today helping me to videotape, which is nice. Usually I have to do everything myself, so it's kind of nice to have somebody taping you. Then you can focus more on the job. Tomorrow I'll put another coat on for the third coat, and then it shall be ready to put back on the tractor. I'm 3/4 done painting the John Deere 316 tractor. But at this point here, I'm not going to make a video showing each step of me putting the parts back on, because I want to make a final video where I unveil the whole project. So at this point here, what you've seen is what all you're going to see for handling the parts individually. So come back for the next video, and you're going to see the final unveiling of the John Deere 316 tractor fully painted. See you then.